Hello, and welcome to Living a Revived Life YouTube channel where we are coming together and exploring different ways and practical uses that we may use the things that we know that we've been taught to live in a revived way. So much is going on in the world today. So many people have so many different things that they're struggling with and they're dealing with. And one day I asked myself, well, if all of us are in one way or another trying to reach a better life, whether it's in our Christianity teachings, whether it's in living our best lives, whether it's in detachment, whatever it is, we all are seeking some type of peace and excitement in life. And, as a chaplain, people open to me in different ways. And one of those ways that I have acknowledged in our everyday environment is how women are relating to one another. I'm in a point in my life where definitely I am heterosexual, nothing against anyone else who is not. But for me, I'm heterosexual. But seeing women every day in their power and embracing their beauty and embracing their voice and embracing their talents is so wonderful and so empowering for me. I see the beauty in other women, and I automatically just want to tell them exactly where the beauty is shown in them. For so long, we are kept internal that we have to compare ourselves to another person. And if another person has something that we do not, or they might have a feature that we do not, or they might even be slightly or even more significantly graceful or beautiful or whatever the case may be. And sometimes and every now and then I just have this very hint of like maybe covetousness or jealousy. And I know everyone goes through it. And I always ask myself, well, what exactly is going on here? What is going on inside of you that you're feeling this? And what is it about you that you're uncomfortable about? And once I address that within myself, it's easy for me to connect with other women. I know I was one of those girls who said, oh, I don't like women. Women don't like me. Girls don't like me. I never got along with girls. And I always had male friends. And as I grew up, I kind of stayed with that belief system and that I picked up from other people, and thinking that, having male company is greater and more powerful than having women company. Um, which is true because men do add something that women do not. But having this belief system severely limits me, and it limits other women, and it probably even limits you in some way. So I want to empower you guys to really go internal, to really be so comfortable and so in love with yourself that anybody on the outside that may have something that we don't have, we can only celebrate, acknowledge, and only work towards within ourselves, only because it feels good to, not because we're trying to achieve something, so that we may compare ourselves to others. So, and it actually goes deeper. If you think about your woman relationships growing up, how you related to your mother, your grandmother, your aunties, and how they related to one another, how they related to other women. What am I talking about? When I grew up, in my environment, it was, oh, he took her and he took me from her and she's cheating on him and I look better than that. And what do she got that I don't got, and all this other kind of stuff. So just very, very, very limited thinking that if we didn't have the male's attention, then there was something going on with us and that we needed to get our lives together. But, and work towards our lot, something wrong with us concerning him, right? It's not an internal thing like, okay, where can I work on me? It's more like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? How come I'm not good enough? How come I'm not worthy? Why am I second best here? How come I'm not good enough for this man or woman, whatever the case may be? Um, and then we over sacrifice. I'm just only talking from the women's point of view, not saying that men don't go through this too, but just from this standpoint, if you can relate, I hope you can grab something from it. But just think about it. How others related to the women around us as we grew up is how we relate to women. So I know that some people may connect, some people may not connect, but I just think we're living in a time and space that we have to overcome our limited beliefs, and we really have to cultivate something that is new, something that is going to grow and enrich us. We have to release that one relationship, that one or two relationships, that maybe two or three for somebody, that is staying in our minds. For me, one thing that I realized I had to release that I didn't know that was still subconsciously bothering my relationships in the present now. In high school, I had a best friend, um, and we did. We hung out together. We did everything. Yeah, I learned a lot from her because she just had a different culture than I did, even though we were both, of the same race and origin, but and a little bit of the same background. We were different, we were alike, and we had fun together. And then one day, and I was very outgoing, very always magnetized person. People always was very magnetized to me, even though I did not know it. Other people seen it and felt it. I didn't know it at the time. One day I was at work, just hanging out, chilling, having a good time, just thinking about the weekend coming up because we spent all our weekends together. And I received, about 10-page text message or 10 different text messages of 10 reasons why she didn't want to be my friend anymore. And most of that had to do with, how I interact with boys and how I interact with our friends. And she felt that everywhere we go, I was trying to steal the attention and that kind of thing. And it just took me by storm because at the time I really didn't understand the type of power of magnetism that I had. And so I just didn't know how to respond. I didn't know how to react. So what did I do? Well, we most do. I internalized that emotion, that hate, that pain, that, just wow. I think at the time my brother died, I think 3 days before that or a week. I think it was very, very close. And so it was just a lot, right? I internalized the pain of loss of my brother, internalized the pain of loss of a friend, and I didn't understand why she didn't like me like that. And then a couple of weeks later, as I continued to live my life, so I decided, you know what, whatever. I'm just going to do what I need to do. Push forward, push forward, push forward. Like everybody else say, be strong. Don't show weakness. And then a couple of weeks later, she did return, with a few more messages. We actually spoke face to face, and she just said that it had a lot to do with jealousy and that she was just really jealous of me, that I always had boyfriends and people were interested in me, and she did not have boyfriends and did not feel that she was a beautiful person at that time. Even though we're all beautiful people from the inside out, but again, it takes that awareness and the ability to go internal and be honest with yourself, right? You just have to be honest with yourself. So I didn't know that I was still struggling with that until one day I was like, bam, that was the moment. That was the moment, the defining moment that I decided that I would only be friends with my male friends, and I'll do everything I can to fit into the group. And I became a homegirl. That's what they call me, a homegirl. Purely just sister vibration and friendship based. Definitely stay. I practiced myself into the friendship zone. Is that, if that makes sense? I practiced myself into the friendship zone, and definitely even have those connections today. 25, here it is, almost 20 years later. 25 for some of my friends, 30 for a few of my male friends. We've been friends for almost 30 years. And I had to go internal and release that had nothing to do with with me and my worthiness, but everything what I was attracting to my life, right? At the time, women relationships were very weak and very, very wishy-washy and very judgmental. And so whatever I had going, vibration that I didn't know I had going on, whatever I was cultivating within me, I was building a belief system. And that belief system started playing out in that female friend. And because I believed in that belief system, because it showed itself to me, then I continued to struggle with women relationships throughout my teenage years into my early adult years into my late 30s, when I finally started realizing that all these issues that I have externally is an internal thing. All these external relationship issues with men and women that I'm having is definitely an internal thing. As you can see, I built a belief system around relationships with men and women. I built a belief system around relationships with women and women, with children and adults, and how we relate ourselves to the world. So at 38, thank God I made it to 38, that, and I'm okay with sharing that I will not be that mom that's trying to go back to 29, because embracing the moment is the best thing we got. The moment is the most powerful thing we got, right? And so once I started looking in the mirror and said, Kayla, well, what exactly, if you could take a magic wand, what would you look like? What would you be like? Most importantly, how do you want to feel? And I said, I want to feel beautiful. I just want to feel good. And what will make me just feel good, and exercise always makes me feel good, taking meditation, breathing feels good, right? Listening to good uplifting music with the words that match the type of life I want to live, right? That feels good, right? Reading things that will only enrich my mind feels good. And as I started exploring the things that genuinely feels good for me, that is a legitimate thing that feels good. It's not an altering thing like drugs and alcohol. I'm not saying that I don't never participate in that, but once I started finding those things that outside of those kind of stimulants, life just started getting great. My body started looking the way I feel that it wanted to look. Just because I'm small doesn't mean that everybody wants to be this way. I finally became comfortable with the way my breast looks, right? Not everybody has B, C, D cups, right? And as a small woman, I had to embrace who I was, right? Not everybody has coarse hair like I do. No, nobody, has my facial features that I do. I had to look in the mirror and say, girl, you are beautiful. Just look at them eyes. Look, and if I didn't like my eyebrows, well, why don't I like my eyebrows? Because I'm a type of person who likes shaped eyebrows. So, having that time first, being able to watch YouTube and doing it myself so I can look some kind of way. And then eventually it got to the point where I could afford to have someone to do it. And it just made me feel good. And then I realized that when I put on lashes, my eyes pop. My eyes are a certain shape, and I just enjoyed the way my face looked when I put on eyelashes. And I'm like, wow, I like looking at myself and saying, girl, you are beautiful. I'm just that type of person. I've always been a person who liked dresses, but throughout my life, I guess I disconnected with that. But one day I went into a store and just started buying dresses and just feeling good and getting tapped into when I was a younger girl, when how I felt when I wore a dress and some heels and just being pretty from the inside out, and that's just who I was. And so I started getting connected with being a girly girl. It's okay. I think throughout life we develop this hard shell, this external thing that we have to be independent, and it's okay to take care of ourselves, right? We have to be. You can't be in a union without being separated, because even being in a union, at times you will feel or even physically be separated. But um, you know, being able to really just embrace who you are and where you are is very, very important. And so I began this with the topic of